Okay, let's unpack this. Before we even finish this conversation, something like 38 seniors will actually be hospitalized.
Wow.
Yeah, due to falls, and these falls are directly linked to muscle loss. Think about that. It's often preventable, but it happens that frequently, robbing someone of their independence.
It's a really sobering thought, and it highlights what you might call a kind of silent erosion, you know? After we hit 60, our bodies can gradually lose, well, up to a third of their muscle
A
mass.
third. That's huge.
It really is. Scientists call it sarcopenia. And it's a surprisingly big factor in why so many seniors, I think the statistic is around 87% end up needing nursing home care. The
Hmm.
impact is just immense.
Absolutely. And the really tricky part is it often creeps up without obvious warning signs, like no pain, no flashing light,
Exactly.
until suddenly those everyday things getting out of a chair maybe become a real struggle.
Yeah.
Or a minor stumble turns into a serious injury because the muscles just aren't there to support you anymore.
But, you know, here's where it gets really interesting. There's some cutting edge research, including fascinating work from places like Harvard Medical School,
Hmm.
that's identified specific foods with unique compounds that can actually help reverse this muscle wasting, even for people in their 70s and 80s.
Okay, reverse it. That's a strong claim. And get this, the number one food we're going to talk about today. It has this particular protein component
Right.
that remarkably outperformed prescription medications in clinical trials.
Right.
It actually rebuilt muscle mass in a way many thought was, well, kind of beyond reach.
And what's truly insightful is that this specific food led to a reversal of muscle loss in, I think it was 91% of study participants
21%.
within just 6 weeks. It just really underscores the power of like targeted nutrition in
Wow.
tackling this really significant health challenge.
So our mission today is to really dig into 10 science-backed foods. Foods that have shown real promise in helping rebuild muscle after 60. Think of this as maybe your shortcut to understanding this crucial area, a way to proactively invest in your independence, your well-being. Ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
Okay, first up, Greek yogurt.
Greek yogurt. It's a real standout, especially for muscle preservation as we age. What makes it different, you know, from regular yogurt is the straining process.
Right, they strain out the liquid way.
Exactly. And that removes a lot of the liquid, concentrating the protein content quite significantly. So you're typically looking at around, say, 15 to 20 grams of high-quality protein in a standard 6-ounce serving.
15 to 20 grams, that's nearly double regular yogurt, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. Double the protein is a great start.
Okay, so double the protein is good, but is there something about this protein itself? Like what makes it maybe more valuable for aging muscles compared to, I don't know, the protein in chicken?
That's a great question. The key benefit here really lies in its high content of casein protein.
Casein.
Now, casein digests slowly. It provides the sustained release of amino acids to your muscles over several hours. So while a quick hit of protein is useful sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
this slow, steady stream is particularly effective if you have Greek yogurt before bed.
Before bed.
Yeah, it acts almost like a nighttime bodyguard for your muscles, specifically fighting that accelerated breakdown that tends to happen while we sleep during that fasting period.
That makes a lot of sense, like a slow-release fuel source, keeping things nourished overnight. Are there other advantages to it?
Oh, absolutely. Greek yogurt also delivers a good dose of calcium, vitamin D, and phosphorus, all vital not just for keeping bones strong, but also for ensuring our muscles function properly.
Right. Bone and muscle health are linked.
Definitely. Plus, it's packed with probiotics, good for gut health, and we're learning more and more about how a healthy gut actually helps with nutrient absorption and keeps inflammation in check, both of which play pretty significant roles in muscle health as we get older.
Wow. So it's a whole package deal there.
Ah.
What's the best way for us to actually get it into our diets? Any tips?
Well, for the best results, you really want to choose plain, full-fat varieties. Avoid the added sugars.
So the flavored ones can be loaded.
They really can. You can easily customize the flavor yourself with healthy stuff like berries, nuts, maybe a drizzle of honey. Much better than those pre-flavored options. Aim to include it, say, maybe 3 to 4 times a week. And like we said, it makes a really beneficial evening snack.
Got it. Okay, moving on to number 9. Fatty fish. We hear a lot about them for heart health, but what makes them so valuable for our muscles?
Yeah, fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, They offer this really unique combination of nutrients, fantastic for preserving muscle, which becomes, particularly important as we get older. The real stars here are those omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA.
Right, the famous ones.
Exactly. Research consistently shows these potent compounds help significantly reduce the inflammation that can really accelerate muscle breakdown as we age.
So it's targeting that inflammation again, which we know is tied to so many age-related things. What about the protein in these fish? Is that a big factor too?
Oh, definitely. A 4-ounce serving of salmon, for instance, gives you around 20 grams of complete protein.
Complete protein, meaning all the essential amino acids.
Correct. All the building blocks your body needs for muscle repair and maintenance. But what truly sets fatty fish apart, I think, is how these omega-3s seem to enhance your muscle's ability to use that protein.
Really? How so?
It's like they're making our aging muscles more receptive, more sensitive to the signals that tell them to grow and repair, almost like fine-tuning the process.
That's fascinating. So they're not just providing blocks, they're helping the construction crew work better. Is there actual research backing this up?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. There are studies published in places like the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. They found older adults who made a habit of eating fatty fish, say, at least twice a week,
Right.
experienced significantly less muscle loss over a 3-year period compared to those who rarely ate fish. Plus, these fish are also a good natural source of vitamin D.
Ah, right. Vitamin D is crucial for muscles too, and lots of seniors are low.
Precisely. Deficiency is common and impacts muscle function and strength.
So aiming for at least 2 servings a week sounds like a really smart strategy. Any practical tips for getting more fatty fish in?
Absolutely. When you can, try to choose wild-caught varieties. They tend to have a better fatty acid profile.
Okay.
If you find it really challenging to eat fish regularly, maybe you don't like the taste or access is an issue, high-quality fish oil supplements can offer some benefits. But getting nutrients from the whole food is generally the preferred way to go.
Whole foods first. Makes sense. All right. Swimming along to number 8, we have eggs. Now, for years, there was so much caution around eggs, right? Focus on the whites only. What's the current thinking on eggs and keeping muscles strong?
Right. Eggs are, well, perhaps one of the most versatile and, frankly, cost-effective muscle-preserving foods out there, especially for seniors. And yes, while the focus used to be mainly on the whites, we now understand that the whole egg offers this near-perfect blend of nutrients, incredibly beneficial for aging muscles. The protein in eggs has an exceptionally high biological value.
Meaning our bodies can use it really efficiently.
Exactly. Very easily utilized for muscle maintenance.
So how much protein are we talking about in, say, one large egg?
A single large egg contains about 6 grams of complete protein.
Yeah.
But here's what's really interesting. The yolk actually contains almost half of that protein.
Half in the yolk. I thought it was mostly fat.
It has fat, yes, but also significant protein, along with some really crucial nutrients like choline, vitamin D, and importantly, leucine.
Leucine again. That seems to be a key player.
It really is. Leucine is this amino acid that acts like a direct trigger, like flipping a switch for muscle protein synthesis. Even in aging muscles that might have become a bit less responsive to other growth signals.
Okay, so the yolk is critical then. And you mentioned some compelling research on whole eggs versus whites.
Yes. Recent research from the University of Illinois, they found that when people consumed whole eggs after exercise, they experienced a 40% greater muscle-building response compared to those who only ate egg whites containing the exact same amount of protein.
Wow, 40%. That is a significant difference, especially for seniors trying to overcome that age-related resistance you mentioned.
Absolutely. The combination of nutrients in the yolk just seems to give that extra boost.
Okay, but what about the elephant in the room, the cholesterol? That's what scared people off yolks for so long.
Right. Well, that's an area where the science has really evolved. Current research indicates that for most people, moderate egg consumption, and we're talking maybe up to 7 eggs a week or 1 a day, doesn't actually increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. And for some, it might even have some positive effects on their cholesterol profiles.
That's really great news for egg lovers. So what's the best way to work them into our daily routine for muscle health?
Well, aiming for 1 to 2 eggs per day seems like a good target, especially maybe at breakfast when protein intake can often be a bit lower for people.
Good point.
And, hard-boiled eggs are just fantastic. Great to have on hand as a quick, easy snack. No preparation needed, perfect if energy levels are a concern.
Excellent idea. Okay, cracking on to number 7. Nuts and seeds. We often think of these as healthy snacks, good fats. But how exactly do they help with muscle preservation?
Nuts and seeds, yeah, they offer this really powerful combination. You get plant-based protein, healthy fats, and a whole variety of micronutrients. They all seem to work together to help preserve muscle mass in seniors.
So it's the synergy.
Exactly. While they might not be as protein dense as, say, lean beef or fish, their unique blend gives them some distinct muscle preserving advantages.
Okay, give us some specific examples. Which nuts and seeds should we be paying particular attention to?
Well, almonds, walnuts, and pumpkin seeds are all excellent choices. A quarter cup of almonds, for instance, gives you around 6 grams of protein, plus a good shot of magnesium.
Magnesium seems important.
It really is. Many seniors don't get enough, and it's vital for muscle contraction, energy production.
Hmm.
Actually, a lack of magnesium has been linked to faster muscle loss and more cramping.
Ouch. Okay, what about walnuts and pumpkin seeds?
Walnuts are a great source of alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. That's a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid, and it helps reduce that chronic inflammation we keep talking about.
Right, inflammation again.
And pumpkin seeds, they're an exceptional source of zinc. Zinc is important because it supports the production of testosterone.
Even in older adults.
Yes, testosterone naturally declines with age, but it remains really essential for maintaining muscle mass in both men and women, so zinc helps support those levels.
Interesting. So a range of benefits from different types. Are there any other key nutrients they offer for muscle health?
Absolutely. Many nuts and seeds are rich in vitamin E.
The antioxidant.
Exactly. A potent antioxidant that helps protect the membranes of our muscle cells from oxidative damage, which tends to accumulate as we age. There's research from Tufts University showing that seniors with higher levels of vitamin E in their blood tend to experience less muscle loss over time.
Sounds like a handful a day could really be beneficial then. What's a good amount to aim for? How much is a serving?
Yeah, for optimal muscle preservation, aiming for around 1 to 2 ounces of mixed nuts and seeds each day is a pretty good guideline.
1 to 2 ounces. Okay.
It can be helpful to maybe pre-portion them into small containers or bags, just to avoid overeating because they are quite calorie dense.
Good tip.
And it's generally best to choose unsalted varieties, especially if you have any concerns about blood pressure or fluid retention.
Makes sense. Okay. Moving to number 6, we have beans and legumes. We often hear about their fiber content, fantastic for digestion, but what role do they play in keeping muscles strong?
Beans and legumes, yeah, they're often an overlooked powerhouse for muscle preservation in seniors. They provide a decent amount of protein, sure, maybe around 15 grams per cooked cup, but their real unique value, I think, lies in the combination of that protein being slow digesting, plus a good dose of resistant starch.
Resistant starch, what's that do?
Well, resistant starch is a special type of carbohydrate that basically acts as food, as fuel for the beneficial bacteria living in our gut.
Ah, the gut-muscle connection. We hear more and more about that. How does it factor in here?
It's becoming increasingly clear, isn't it? A
Yeah.
healthy gut microbiome is really important for seniors. When you have a thriving community of these good gut bacteria, it helps reduce systemic inflammation throughout the body.
Okay, back to inflammation again.
Exactly. And as we know, that chronic inflammation can really accelerate muscle breakdown. Plus, the fiber in beans and legumes also helps keep blood sugar levels stable.
How does that help muscles?
Well, it prevents those big insulin spikes and crashes, which can sometimes trigger the body to break down muscle tissue for energy, something called catabolism.
Got it. So they're helping in a couple of different ways, feeding the gut, stabilizing blood sugar. Are there particular types of beans or legumes that are especially good?
Black beans, lentils, chickpeas, they're all particularly noteworthy, mainly due to their impressive mineral content.
Minerals like it.
Good sources of potassium, magnesium, there it is again, and iron, all essential for proper muscle function and often things that are lacking in the diets of older adults.
Right. Iron deficiency, for instance, that's quite common in seniors, isn't it?
It is. And it can significantly impair how effectively our muscles use oxygen and produce energy. Makes you feel weak and fatigued.
And is there any research linking eating beans and legumes specifically to better muscle health in older adults?
Yes, there is. Research from Tufts University's Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging found that seniors who made a habit of eating legumes at least 4 times a week
4 times.
tended to have significantly better muscle maintenance over a 5-year period compared to those who rarely ate them.
That's pretty compelling.
Yeah.
So how can we easily incorporate more of them? Any tips, especially if maybe they cause digestive issues for some?
Good point. Aim for at least 3 to 4 servings a week. maybe try different kinds. If you find they cause any digestive discomfort, like gas or bloating, it's definitely best to start with smaller portions and increase gradually.
Okay, ease into it.
Yeah, soaking dried beans overnight before cooking can also help. It reduces some of those compounds that can cause gas. And if you use canned beans, which are super convenient,
Hmm.
just make sure to choose low sodium varieties and rinse them really thoroughly underwater before using them. That washes away a lot of the excess salt and starch.
Great advice. Now, moving to number 5, leafy green vegetables. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard. We know they're packed with vitamins, absolutely essential for health, but are they really muscle-preserving foods?
Well, you're right. Leafy greens might not be the first food group that springs to mind when you think muscle building, mainly because they aren't high in protein.
Right.
But their unique nutrient profile makes them incredibly important for seniors looking to preserve muscle mass. Their main muscle-preserving power actually comes from their exceptionally high nitrate content.
Nitrates.
Huh.
Huh. We usually hear about those in, like, processed meats, often negatively. How do they benefit muscles?
It's different in vegetables. Our bodies convert these natural dietary nitrates into nitric oxide.
Nitric oxide, okay. That relaxes blood vessels, doesn't it?
Exactly. It helps improve blood flow, including blood flow to our muscles. And better blood flow means muscles get more nutrients delivered and waste products get removed more efficiently.
So it's about better delivery and cleanup crew access.
Precisely. There's research from the Karolinska Institute in Sweden showing that consuming nitrates can improve muscle function specifically in older adults, where reduced blood flow can often hinder performance and recovery.
That's really interesting. So better blood flow. What other muscle-related nutrients do these leafy greens pack?
Well, they're also rich in essential electrolytes. Things like calcium, magnesium again, and potassium, all absolutely crucial for proper muscle contraction.
Right. Electrolytes prevent cramps, too.
They do. For example, just 1 cup of cooked spinach provides nearly 40% of your daily magnesium needs. Deficiencies in these minerals have definitely been linked to muscle cramps, weakness, and even accelerated muscle loss over time.
40% from spinach. Wow. Anything else surprising?
And perhaps most surprisingly, leafy greens are among the richest sources of vitamin K.
Vitamin K. I thought that was mainly for blood clotting.
It is, but we're increasingly recognizing its role in protein metabolism and overall muscle function as well. There was a study back in 2015 published in the Journals of Gerontology.
Mm-hmm.
It found that seniors who had a higher intake of vitamin K tended to experience significantly less age-related muscle loss.
Vitamin K for muscles. That's not something you hear every day. Fascinating. So how much of these leafy greens should we aim for?
For maximum benefit, try to consume at least 2 cups of leafy greens every day.
2 cups raw or cooked?
That could be 2 cups raw, like in a salad, or about 1 cup cooked as they shrink down. You can easily incorporate them into smoothies, omelets, soups, or just saute them with a little garlic and olive oil, which brings us nicely to our next point.
Perfect segue.
And, opting for pre-washed varieties can also make preparation much easier, especially if energy or dexterity is limited.
Great tip.
Okay.
So sauteing nicely into number 4, we have olive oil. We know it's a cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet, a healthy fat. But what's its specific connection to keeping our muscles strong?
Olive oil, yeah, especially extra virgin olive oil or EVOO. It contains some unique compounds that seem to specifically target some of the underlying mechanisms of age-related muscle loss, even though obviously it's not a protein source itself. Its powerful anti-inflammatory properties make it a really valuable part of a muscle-preserving diet for seniors.
So it's back to tackling that inflammation again. What specific compounds in olive oil are doing the work here?
Well, one key compound is called oleocanthal.
Oleocanthal.
Yeah, and it actually functions in a way that's quite similar to ibuprofen.
Really? Like an anti-inflammatory drug?
In a natural way, yes. It helps reduce that chronic, low-grade inflammation that can really accelerate muscle breakdown in aging bodies. There's research out of the University of Louisiana showing oleocanthal specifically inhibits certain enzymes involved in the degradation, the breakdown, of muscle protein.
Wow, it directly interferes with muscle breakdown. That's impressive. What else?
Additionally, olive oil has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity. That's really important because insulin resistance, which is quite common in older adults, can impair your muscles' ability to take up and use protein effectively.
Right, making muscles less receptive to growth signals.
Exactly. So improving sensitivity helps overcome that.
That's a really interesting mechanism. Are there any other ways olive oil supports muscle health as we age?
Yes, the monounsaturated fats in olive oil also play a role in supporting hormone production,
Hormones like.
including testosterone and growth hormone. Both naturally decline as we age, but they're still essential for maintaining muscle mass. There was a big study, the Pre-Diamond Project.
After that one, looked at the Mediterranean diet.
That's the one. It found that older adults who regularly consumed olive oil as part of that diet tended to have better muscle strength and lower rates of frailty over a 5-year period compared to those on a low-fat diet.
Better strength and less frailty.
Yeah.
Sounds like a daily drizzle could go a long way. What's the best way to use it to get these benefits? How much?
For optimal benefits, aim to consume around 2 to 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil each day.
2 to 3 tablespoons.
Okay? You can use it in salad dressings, drizzle it over cooked vegetables, use it for dipping bread, or even in low-heat cooking. High heat can degrade some of the beneficial compounds.
Good point.
And it's also a good idea to store it in a dark bottle, away from heat and light, to help preserve those compounds. Checking the harvest date on the bottle helps ensure you're getting a fresh, high-quality oil, too.
Excellent advice. Okay, sweetening of the deal at number 3, we have berries. Delicious, packed with antioxidants. But how do they contribute to keeping muscles strong? Seems less direct than protein or olive oil.
You're right, it's less direct. Berries aren't a source of protein, so they don't directly build muscle. But their exceptionally high antioxidant content plays a crucial protective role for our aging muscle tissue.
Protective how?
Well, as we get older, our muscles become more susceptible to something called oxidative damage or oxidative stress. Think of it like rusting, but on a cellular level. This damage can speed up muscle breakdown and hinder the muscle's ability to recover and repair themselves.
So it's about protecting the muscle cells themselves from this age-related damage.
Exactly. Berries like blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, they're loaded with compounds called anthocyanins and other polyphenols.
The things that give them their bright colors.
Precisely. These act as powerful antioxidants, neutralizing those harmful free radicals that can damage the membranes and the little energy factories, the mitochondria, within our muscle cells. There's research from Tufts University specifically finding that eating blueberries improved muscle performance and recovery in older adults.
Improved performance and recovery.
Okay.
Okay. And do they help with inflammation too?
Yes, they do. Berries also help manage inflammation by influencing certain signaling molecules in the body called cytokines. Now, some inflammation is actually needed for muscle adaptation after exercise, but the chronic low-level inflammation common in aging is detrimental. Berries help restore a healthier balance.
Okay, so antioxidants and anti-inflammatory action. Any other muscle-related benefits from these tasty fruits?
Yes, one more worth mentioning is their vitamin C content, especially in strawberries. Vitamin C plays a role in supporting collagen production.
Collagen, like foreskin.
Yes, but collagen is also a key protein that helps maintain the integrity of the connective tissues, the tendons and ligaments that surround and support our muscle fibers. These supporting structures naturally tend to weaken with age, so supporting collagen is important.
So it's not just the muscle itself, but the whole supportive structure. That makes sense. How many berries should we aim for? Does it matter if they're fresh or frozen?
For the best results, try to get in at least 1 cup of mixed berries each day.
1 cup.
And great news, frozen berries are just as nutritious as fresh ones. Often more affordable and convenient too, available year-round.
That's good to know.
You can easily add them to yogurt, oatmeal, smoothies, or just enjoy them plain as a simple, healthy snack. Their natural sweetness also makes them a fantastic alternative to less nutritious desserts.
Perfect. Okay, now we're getting to the top 2. Coming in at number 2, we have lean beef. We know it's a classic protein source, but what makes it particularly valuable for preserving muscles, specifically in seniors?
Right, lean beef. It offers this really powerful, almost unmatched combination of high-quality protein and several essential nutrients that are particularly beneficial for muscle preservation in older adults. A typical 4-ounce serving provides around 25 grams of complete protein.
25 grams, that's substantial.
Very. And its amino acid profile is extremely well suited to the needs of human muscle tissue.
And you mentioned leucine earlier as being key. How does lean beef stack up there?
This is where lean beef really shines, especially for seniors. It has a very high content of leucine.
That trigger amino acid.
Exactly, that crucial amino acid that directly triggers the mTOR pathway. Remember, that's like the master switch telling your muscles to start building and repairing.
Right. And you said muscles get less sensitive to that switch with age.
Precisely. They become less sensitive to that growth signal. So, having a potent source of leucine, like lean beef, becomes even more important to effectively stimulate muscle protein synthesis. Honestly, beef provides more leucine per serving than almost any other common food source.
More than almost anything else. Okay, so it's giving those aging muscles a really strong signal to grow and repair. What other muscle-friendly nutrients does lean beef offer?
Well, beyond its impressive protein and leucine, lean beef also provides creatine.
Creatine, like the supplement athletes use.
The very same. Creatine helps increase energy reserves within our muscles and can also contribute to muscle volume or fullness. While younger adults often produce enough on their own, this ability tends to decline with age, making dietary sources like beef more important. Lean beef is also a great source of highly bioavailable iron, easier for the body to absorb, plus zinc and various B vitamins. All play vital roles in energy metabolism and transporting oxygen to our muscles.
Lots going on there besides just protein. What does the research say about eating lean beef and muscle health in older adults? Is there evidence it works better than other proteins sometimes?
There is actually. Research from McMaster University, they do a lot of work in this area, showed that when seniors incorporated lean red meat into their diet and combined it with resistance exercise,
Okay, exercise plus beef.
they experienced significantly greater gains in muscle strength compared to seniors who consumed the same total amount of protein but got it from plant-based sources instead.
Greater strength gains. That's a pretty strong endorsement. So how much should we aim for? Should we eat it every day?
Well, for optimal muscle preservation without potentially increasing cardiovascular risks associated with high red meat intake, it's best to choose lean cuts.
Like sirloin or tenderloin?
Exactly. Sirloin, tenderloin, round steaks, trim visible fat. And aim for around 2 to 3 servings per week, a serving being about 4 to 6 ounces cooked.
2 to 3 times a week. Okay.
And if you have the option, choosing grass-fed varieties can offer some additional benefits. They tend to have a slightly better fatty acid profile, including more of those anti-inflammatory omega-3s.
Good to know. Okay, drum roll, please.
Uh,
We've reached number 1, the food you mentioned earlier that actually outperformed prescription medications in some trials. Whey protein. Why is this considered such a powerhouse for combating age-related muscle loss?
Whey protein. Yes, it really stands out, arguably as the single most effective food, or food component, I should say, for tackling age-related muscle loss in seniors.
The single most effective. Why?
It's a complete protein source, derived from dairy during cheese making, actually. And it boasts the absolute highest concentration of leucine of any natural food.
Leucine again. Highest concentration.
By far. Remember, leucine is that key amino acid, the direct trigger for muscle protein synthesis, even in aging muscles that might have become resistant or less responsive to normal growth signals. The key insight here is that whey delivers this concentrated shot of leucine. It acts like a direct key to unlock muscle growth, even when our aging muscles have become a bit stubborn.
So it's hitting that leucine target more effectively, more potently than anything else. What else makes whey protein so beneficial for our muscles as we age beyond just the leucine?
Well, what makes whey particularly valuable, especially right after activity, is its exceptionally rapid rate of digestion and absorption.
Faster than other proteins.
Much faster than casein or even whole food proteins like meat or eggs. This leads to a quick, sharp spike in amino acid levels in the blood. And that rapid spike helps to overcome what scientists call anabolic resistance.
Anabolic resistance.
Yeah.
That's the muscles becoming less responsive?
Exactly. Think of it as the muscles needing a louder signal to grow as we age. Whey provides that loud, clear signal very quickly. There was a really significant study, again from McMaster University, that found seniors who supplemented with whey protein experienced a remarkable 40% greater muscle maintenance compared to those who consumed the same total amount of protein but got it from conventional food sources spread throughout the day.
A 40% difference in maintenance. That is huge. Are there any other benefits to whey? Does it do more than just provide protein and leucine?
Yes, absolutely. Beyond its high-quality protein, whey also contains bioactive peptides. These are small protein fragments that have been shown to do things like enhance blood flow to muscles, improve insulin sensitivity, and even help reduce inflammation. All factors that, as we've discussed, become increasingly problematic for muscle preservation as we get older.
Peptides doing extra work. Interesting.
Additionally, whey protein is a good source of the amino acid cysteine. Cysteine is needed to produce glutathione.
The master antioxidant.
Exactly, our body's primary antioxidant. Supporting glutathione production helps protect muscles against that oxidative damage that accelerates with aging.
Okay, so multiple benefits. And you mentioned some really impressive research findings about whey protein, even without exercise. That seems counterintuitive.
It does, but the research is there. A study published in the Journal of the American Medical Directors Association, or JMDA, found that seniors who supplemented with whey protein actually experienced significant improvements in their muscle strength, their physical performance like walking speed and chair rise time, and even their balance.
Without adding exercise.
Without a specific new exercise program being part of that particular study arm.
Yep.
Now, obviously, when you combine whey protein supplementation with regular resistance training, the benefits are amplified even further. The synergy is powerful, but the fact it showed benefits even without added exercise is remarkable.
That is incredible. It really highlights its potency. So, for listeners interested in trying it, how should they best incorporate whey protein? How much? When? What kind?
Right. For optimal results, the research generally points towards consuming around 20 to 30 grams of whey protein per day.
20 to 30 grams.
And ideally, timing it within about 30 minutes after any physical activity or exercise seems to maximize the muscle repair and building response.
Okay, post-activity window. What kind should people look for? There's so many options.
It can be confusing. Generally, look for minimally processed options like whey protein isolate or whey protein concentrate. Check the label to make sure they don't have a lot of added sugars or artificial ingredients.
Isolate versus concentrate. Any difference?
Isolate has slightly more protein per gram and less fat and lactose, so it might be better if you're very sensitive to dairy. Concentrate is usually a bit cheaper and still very effective. If you have significant dairy sensitivities, hydrolyzed whey protein might be an option. It's pre-digested, basically, making it even easier on the stomach for some.
Good to know. And how do you take it? Just mix it with water.
You can easily mix it with water or milk, dairy, or plant-based. Or, even better, add it to a smoothie along with some berries, maybe some spinach, even Greek yogurt or nut seeds from our list. That creates a really comprehensive muscle-preserving meal or snack.
Fantastic. Well, there you have it. 10 science-backed foods that could be incredibly powerful allies. Allies in preserving and maybe even rebuilding muscle after the age of 60. It's just so clear, isn't it, that what we eat plays such a fundamental role in maintaining our strength, our function, our independence as we age.
Exactly. And it's so important to remember, preserving muscle mass isn't just about, how we look or lifting heavy things. It's truly the fundamental key to maintaining independence day to day, preventing those devastating falls and injuries, supporting a healthy metabolism, and really extending not just our lifespan, but our health span, the quality of life we enjoy as we get older.
Health span, I like that term.
By making a conscious effort, to incorporate these powerful foods into our regular diets, we can significantly slow down, maybe even reverse the muscle loss that so many seniors just tend to accept as an inevitable part of aging. It doesn't have to be.
That's a really hopeful message. So we're really curious now to hear from you, our listeners. Which of these muscle-preserving foods are you perhaps already including in your daily diet? Have you maybe noticed any positive changes in your strength, your energy, your mobility since you started adding them?
Yeah, we'd love to hear about your own personal experiences and your thoughts on all this information. Please do share them with us. You can leave them in the comments section below, wherever you're listening.
Thanks so much for taking this deep dive with us today, and here's a final thought to leave you with. Consider how proactively focusing on these dietary changes could not only potentially add more years to your life, but maybe more importantly, dramatically enhance your ability to truly enjoy those years to the fullest. Think about all the activities, the hobbies, the independence you can maintain, and perhaps even regain.